Okay, well, as this is a Walking Dead special, we thought it would be a good idea to bring our good friend Scott from King's Comics in to have a bit of a chat about this crazy zombie phenomena. So first of all, thanks for joining us on Kapow, Scott.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
So what do you think it is? What is it about The Walking Dead that's made it so popular now?
I think at the time when it came out, we're looking at 10 years ago now, celebrating its 10th anniversary, and it was doing something very different. You know, Robert Kirkman, when he started this series, decided that it was going to be a never-ending survival story. So while we're looking at it as, and while a lot of people look at it as a zombie genre kind of story or series, and there were a lot of zombie stuff making a comeback after that.
There was.
Yeah.
Because there was 28 Days Later, and there was
Dawn of the
Dawn of the
Dead,
Dead.
Things like that, yeah. So, you know, we see this resurgence in zombie things, but I don't think it was necessarily all about the zombies. Like I guess the premise of the show is, what do you do in society once it's broken down and you've got no food, you've got no power, you've got no police or anything like that. It's and it's almost a fantasy for some, you know. Like you said, it's a very engaging read, and it's a very grounded kind of comic. Yeah.
Well, I suppose a lot of people, you see a lot of stuff on the internet with people just going, okay, I wish there would be a zombie apocalypse, because then I could just go around cracking skulls. I think it's very deluded, but you know, a lot of people do think that. I mean, but it's interesting you say it was something very individual, was something very different from standard superhero comics and from zombie fiction as well. It was something different as well.
Yeah. I mean, you can see it has spawned all kinds of, I mean, TV shows that have spun out like Doomsday Preppers or even Man vs. Wild. It's like what do you do once, you know, society's broken out? What do you bring to the world, to this new world?
How do you help
skills?
Keep going?
You know, and it's what I think has kept people going with the comic series, and it's a constant seller in the shop. It always sells out.
Yeah, I think I've also found that I remember seeing on the back of the trades and things like that, there's bits about, you know, what would happen if you didn't have your iPod, you didn't have Facebook, you couldn't just go down the supermarket. What if you actually had to start living? You know, it's that seems to be an underlying thing to the whole series, that it's looking at that concept of stripping everything away and how would you actually deal with that, which I think is probably also a part of why it's so popular as well.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I have been wondering about this, that you've probably come in contact with working at King's, is it seems to be a lot of people in fact, who aren't really big comic readers will get into, you know, the Walking Dead comics. So have you found that?
That's true. It's very true. I guess a lot of people are drawn from the TV show, like, and that's the same with a lot of things. Whether a movie comes out, I'll often have people come into the store and they're not aware that it's a comic series. So, you know, I mean, now that we're into season 4, it's been around 10 years. So a lot of people, the story's a fair way along. And I mean, in regards to maybe not reading other comic series, it's just superhero stuff isn't for everyone, I guess. I mean, that's why it was popular to begin with. I think. Yeah.
So I suppose that's another element that people. So it is, again, it's about it being something different is going to draw people in.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, this is a crazy cross-media massive thing. Like, we've got TV show, we've got the comic books, we've got games that are coming out, and it has been, you know, 10 years. So do you reckon it's got another 10 years to go, or is it going to slowly lose steam? Are we going to get bored with zombies?
I don't think the comic series will slow down. We look at a lot of really popular TV shows today, and I mean, they're ending after 7 seasons, 8 seasons, 7 years, 8 years.
Sure.
So I think he's successfully really made the show different from the comic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we'll keep us guessing. If you like Daryl in the show, one of you guys was mentioned, you won't see him in the comic series at all.
No.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. So, it has been asked, hasn't it? It's like, no, we're never bringing him in. So if anybody's waiting for Daryl Dixon to show up in the comics, not going to happen at any point. So I mean, but that makes sense, I think, to give something unique to either, you know, media.
That's true.
And like we were saying, it's a never-ending survival story, and after 115 issues, it's still consistently good.
There's still stuff going on,
and
isn't there?
what you think after all that time, you wouldn't think of other problems that would have that they do. Yeah, and it's something that a lot of comic readers will always have under their belt, but they might drop off reading other series or superhero stuff, things like that, but they'll always be reading Walking Dead.
Cool. Hopefully it's kind of a gateway. You know, if people come in, they check out, Walking Dead is a comic. Oh, actually, that looks kind of good too. So, you know, to get people into other stuff. So that's a positive thing about it, I would say.
Yeah, it is.
Is it an easy series to get into, though?
It's definitely not an easy after 115 issues, like I was saying.
Yeah.
I recommend reading it in trade paperback, which are the most frequent things to come out. You can get those. There's 19 of those.
Right.
You can also pick up a compendium. Compendiums have 8 volumes, and then another 8, so you've got 16. There's 19 all up. I recommend reading
Hang out
it
on a
in book.
weekend and read one of those.
Yeah.
I don't read them all at once though. That's a mistake.
The story is convoluted, but it would be very hard to get into in monthly issues. I highly recommend going to trade paperbacks for it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming and having a bit of a chat about the crazy phenomena that is The Walking Dead.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.